I like that wick. We entered the trade. We're gonna know real quick too if we're right or not. Okay, it's pushing. It's pushing. We got to get out of here. Okay, back in this trade because I've seen multiple rejections at 383 now. Okay, here we go, getting a bigger flush. 14% on the puts, 16%. We got the S&P making a huge move in the morning. Big move to the upside. Not only do we get this gap up from 376.42, we opened around 379, and now we're headed for 383, I believe. So I think the opportunity here is going to be, hey, we're still in a bear market. Okay, we're still in a bear market. We're still trading lower, and there's been a monster resistance at 383. 383 has been the monster resistance. And even if we draw this trend line, price should get stuck around 383. I think we pull there. I think we pull into 382.90, somewhere between 382.90 and 382. I'm sorry, somewhere between 382.90 and 383. Now let's check it out on the chart without the pre-market. You can see it's a little more clear here. So if we look here, we can see there is a clear resistance at 383. Let's pull back a little bit. Okay, and this is the level we've been talking about, is 383. 383 is the place where the S&P has a choice. It could continue higher. We kind of have a cup and handle looking here, so we could break out and go higher. It's all going to be about price action. How does price respond to 383? Is it going to give us some bearish confirmation, or to get short, or is it going to, or the bull's going to take control of the 383 level, start supporting 383 or 382.92? Are they going to support that level, or is it going to have a bearish reaction? I think we're headed for 383. That's the point I wanted to make. We're headed for 383, and we're going to take an opportunity if we see it. We're looking for it to touch 383 or get around here and see some bearish price action. Right now we're above the 21 EMA, we're above VWAP, but one of the things I like to do is draw a trend, and that trend from the bottom will kind of give us a little more confirmation if it breaks that it's starting to weaken, because if the trend breaks, then we know there's some weakness going on there. So it looks like it's very bullish. It's moving. We also want to see the dollar start to move higher. We want to see the VIX start to move higher. We're not seeing that. It looks like it might break above 383 given the momentum right now. It looks like it's going to rip through 383. And so we can be a little more patient there. But again, we're looking for the dollar to move higher. We're looking for the VIX to move higher. And we're looking for this trend that started in the morning to actually start breaking down. And we'll see where the EMA is at when that time comes. All right, now it's starting to break. It is starting to break the trend. Okay, that's confirmation one. Still above the EMA though, still above the 21 EMA. Now we've pulled back a couple times and made new highs, so we really got to wait for that lower high. All right, we got support at near-term support 382.40. So we can always cross below that and then retest it and get rejected, which would be the 21 EMA. That would be a nice entry point, a nice inflection. Although I still think we're going to test 383. All day long, it supported the 21 EMA, okay? Support, 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 support. Now we're cracking that support, and we want to see the retest and get it, and we want to see the retest and see it get rejected by that EMA. And I think we're going to see that pretty soon here. This is the first time it's violated the EMA, by the way. All right, yep, it's going to test 383. Now what I want to see is the reaction. I want to see the VIX react. If it gets rejected hard off 383, I want to see the VIX, boom, pump. And we might be seeing it. There's a real battle at 383. That is the level, real battle there. Really watching the time and sale to see the order sizes coming in around that level on either side. If we do take this trade, the stop's going to be above 383.10. A hold above 383.10. I'm really staying patient here because, again, I want to see the VIX start to pick up. I'm not seeing it. So even though we got that wick and we're starting to move lower, it's not enough variables for me to enter that trade. I really want to see the VIX move higher. And I want to see the dollar too. I would love to see the dollar and the VIX start moving up together. All right, here's where I want to get short. If this thing cannot get above that previous wick, 383.04. Here we go, coming into it. Boom, we got a wick. I like that. I like that wick. We entered the trade. Hold above 383. We're gonna know real quick too if we're right or not. We need the VIX to follow through. It's pushing. We got to get out of here. Okay, so we had to get out of that trade because it made a new high. It did make a new high off that consolidation, and it's holding above 383. I think it's going to move higher now. The VIX just isn't giving us enough strength to push that lower. And the dollar is also starting to fall. We'll take that loss. That was a good risk reward. The reward was a play down to the lows or a play down a VWAP. Quick recap. What we wanted to see is bearish price action off the 383 level. This would have been the spot to really get short because it would be making a lower high. It would be making a lower high. So we got in. We got in right here. We got in at this lower high. But eventually SPY did push above 383. And not only did it push, it held. And if we zoom in here, it pushed above, it held for a minute. And then I was like, okay, my stop is over this 1 minute bar if it makes a new high. And it came back and supported. It came back and supported and came back up, and I was out. I was out of that trade because that was bullish confirmation that now it's starting to show some support on 383. So that's why we got out. We took a small loss. I think it was minus 50. I mean, we'll check again later, but look, SPY is starting to push higher. Another big reason that we didn't like this, another big reason I exited the trade is I'm not getting momentum on the VIX. I'm not seeing the VIX move higher, which is the inverse correlation. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing the dollar push higher. So I want to see both of these things. I want to see the dollar and the VIX push higher at the same time. And that gives me a little more confirmation to stay short in the trade, but they didn't. The VIX was not moving and the dollar was not moving. So I don't get that confirmation to stay in the trade, and we're out. Okay, the S&P is starting to get real bearish against that 383 level. It got to 383.25, got rejected pretty hard. We tried to trade it earlier. We got stopped out. But now we're seeing the VIX start to pull up. We're starting to see the dollar pull up, and the VIX is now below 383. So what I'm looking at here, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the SPY to drop a little more, retest 383, make a lower high, just like we did earlier. We try to get in on the lower high. I want to see it make a lower high, get rejected by the EMA and 383 at the same time. This is a better risk reward, and then go lower. And the RSI is really telling us that this thing should be going lower. So we're gonna keep our eye on it for now. Okay, so the VIX is turning up. Okay, it did get rejected, so let's see if we can get back in here. Okay, back in this trade because I've seen multiple rejections at 383 now and the EMA, and it's drifting a little lower. Okay. The EMA is drifting lower. Should be heavy. The RSI tells us it's going lower. Still, we're not getting a whole lot on the dollar and the VIX, but we could scalp this. All right, our target is going to be the lows. See if it can make a new low. If it can make a new low, we're going to get out on that new low. Up about 10% on the puts. Still showing some weakness. The VIX, as you can see, is making new local highs. That should give us some momentum. The dollar's trying to push up. Okay, bearish wick so far. This should give us some new lows. Come on, S&P, let's go. The VIX is still moving higher, so I like that. And usually the SPY drops pretty quick when it's time to drop. So I want to be patient here. I want to be patient. It's been consolidating for a minute. Okay, here we go. Getting a bigger flush. 14% on the puts. 16%. All right, so we got out around 16%, up 16% on the puts on that new flush lower. That was a quick scalp. Okay, again, we got the VIX moving higher. This thing could drop out. It probably will continue to drop. But we want to take our profits up 16%. We covered the losses. And really, we're getting the RSI down here. So I'm looking at the RSI. Okay, the RSI is almost oversold. And I think it's possible that we got away from VWAP. So I think it's possible that we pull right back up and confirm the rollover by touching VWAP again. So, and then we're at a previous support here. Okay. So let me explain this. All right, so I'm going to walk you through a couple trades we made today, showing my P&L on Robinhood. And first, we're going to start with the bigger picture. Okay, the bigger picture is we are in a downtrend on the S&P 500. We're moving lower over this period of time. We've been in the bear market trend. And so as we zoom in, we want to see resistance levels that are sticking. And what we see here is over the past 5 days, we've noticed that this 383 level, 382.90 to 383 level, has been a major resistance. We saw it again yesterday morning, and now we gap up and we go right into 383, and that's where we're going to zone in and see how we executed this trade. This morning in pre-market, the SPY gapped up, made a huge gap up in the morning. We saw resistance in the pre-market right here. On the open, it flushed lower. This is usually a bullish trend. It flushes lower, starts pulling up, breaks that resistance, and continues higher. And we break out from 380 all the way to 383. This was a huge move. So the first thing I'm identifying is this thing is overextended. Okay, not only is it overextended, but it's pulling into that 383 level, which is that major resistance that we kept talking about that we've seen over the past 5 days. 383 is that level. That's that level of resistance. And that was a perfect setup because I'm like, hey, this is the level it kept getting rejected on. That's what I want to see. The perfect trade would be that the SPY pulls right back into 383, and that's what we're getting. Okay, so now let's talk about the actual price action here. So the first thing I'm looking at is I want to draw a trend. SPY is overextended, and I want to see where it's starting to touch at. Okay, so I draw a trend line. I see it's touching on all these areas, and what I'm looking for is not only bearish price action against 383, but I want to see it break that trend. And so we did. We got the break of that trend here. Okay, and it also dropped the 21 EMA at the same time. And I'm looking for it to pull back up and get rejected by the EMA or by that 383 level. We stayed patient because we stayed patient on the EMA. We didn't get short here because the tape was very strong, and also the dollar and the VIX weren't dropping enough. So we came into the actual 383 level again. It started getting rejected. It consolidates under it. Now I'm interested. Now I want to get short. And what do? We get short after this wick. After this wick, we get short on this candle. We're watching. Again, SPY is moving up for the day. The EMA is still pointing higher. So that wasn't the best risk reward, but it was something we could try. The VIX started moving up a little bit, but the VIX didn't move up enough. The dollar didn't move up enough. And finally, our stop is above. Our stop is going to be right here. Okay, our stop is actually above this wick, and we don't just want to get the we just don't want to stop out right above the wick. We want to see it hold above that wick. So what we got is this bar moved up. It gets above 383. It holds 383 in this minute bar, and this next bar, it comes back. Okay, so it's not strong yet. It comes back, and it supports 383. So this wick told us SPY is now supporting 383. We exit the trade on the break of this line, on the break of this candle. We exit the trade. We're out. I think we lose like $50. We're going to show it. It goes higher. Okay, and now it starts to come lower. It starts to look weak now. And this is where we want to enter the trade again. This is where we get we got more interested. We didn't want to give up on the trade. I noticed the VIX started to pick up. Okay, now we're back under that level. We're back under 383 again. So we're back under 383 again. Now we start consolidating under again, just like we did earlier. But there's one key difference from earlier. Now the 21 EMA, the exponential moving average, which is more weighted to now versus earlier, is showing a change in character. The EMA is now pointing lower. So now we're getting the EMA pointing lower as resistance. It's starting to become resistance. And we got the 383 level as resistance at the same time. We get a wick here, and we just continually see it get rejected by 383. I enter the trade somewhere around here. Okay, we have it. We're showing that trade. We got in this trade here, and we're saying, hey, look, the EMA is pointing lower. The VIX is starting to pick up. The dollar is stabilizing. It's starting to pick up. It just hit resistance. This is the second time that it's touched 383, but now we got that EMA pointing lower. Price drops out, and we're looking for a low. We don't just want to hit the low. We want to see it make a new low. So we cover around this new low. Okay, it was a quick scalp, and we covered around the new low, not at the very bottom. We didn't bottom ticket, but we did get it around here, and that is primarily because this was a previous support line. So I didn't want to hold under a previous support line. It should always break when it makes a lower high like this. It should break the previous low, and that's what we got. It doesn't always happen, but we did get a break of the previous low, and I didn't want to risk, okay, I'm just going to think it's going to go lower. No, because there's another support down here, okay? And so this was the support that we got out on. We got out right before or as it entered into the support. And also we had seen the VIX start pushing a little higher. As soon as that thing slowed down, we were out of the trade. So this was our trade. We lost on this trade. Okay, we got stopped out here. We got in about 382 99 or 383. I'm not sure exactly what point we got in, but we did get out around 11 cents, I believe. 383 and 11 cents. We re-entered the trade again at 383, and we got out around 382.40. I think it was about 382.40 is when we exited the trade. And so that's our trade review for now, but I just wanted to show that education. Okay, the main thing again is that we identify a huge level over the longer time frame. Well, really 5 days. We know the downtrend is set in place. So we identify this 383 level that continues to show as resistance